I have a hit single now. I produced along with two others a hit single. This is my first hit single.
Congrats.
Thank you. And it feels amazing, especially since all the stuff I went through, all the stuff we went through to get this, it started off like a disaster. It was a disaster. And if we had given up, we wouldn't have a hit record right now. I wanted a confident yes. What's going down, everyone? It is the Music Entrepreneur Club podcast. My name is DJ Payne One. I'm joined by Erinn and Dame Ritter, and we are charged up this morning. I don't know if there's a collective fatigue going on today. I just felt like once the ranting starts, I think our blood is gonna boil over. How's everyone feeling?
I'm feeling good. A lot of changes that will be happening soon that we'll be able to announce in the near future. But a lot is happening on our end. So I'm excited. And the week's been going cool so far. Can't complain. I don't know if people know this, but we record this podcast right in the middle of the week on Wednesdays. Obviously drop them on Mondays. But this week's been cool with me. How you been, Erinn?
I'm good. I moved last week, but I don't have a mattress. So I've been sleeping on the couch in my old place. So I'm excited to actually move in. I get my new mattress on Monday. You know, word to the wise, don't throw out your old mattress until you have a definitive date for them to deliver your new mattress.
You must be dealing with Ashley Furniture.
No, I ordered a loud mattress.
Don't get me started on Ashley Furniture.
Where are you recording this podcast from? I always thought this was your home.
It is. It's my old. Well, I don't own it. So I just rent here. It's my old spot, but I'm moving into a new place.
Okay.
And so I'm just like, I'm in flux. But it's cool. The landlords here, my parents own this property. They own a few properties, so they're not tripping. I was like, hey, I'm gonna stop paying rent in April because I'm moving out. So they're like, all right. So it's easy, I guess, but I'm ready to go because this is on the South Side and I live in the city again, and I'm excited to be back inside the city. So.
Nice. Payne, you had an experience with Ashley Furniture that was terrible, I'm assuming. I think everybody that's dealt with them has had an experience that was terrible.
Yeah, it was comically bad. But I'm more curious. So I got a mattress last year, a new mattress last year. I didn't realize how much research goes into that. It was like a 2-3 month process for me. And there are websites that will evaluate and rate each aspect of a mattress, you know, from like side support to middle support. And are you a back sleeper? Are you a side sleeper? This is why memory foam is a better choice. This is why hybrid is a better choice. This is why this and that. And now you don't even need a box spring anymore for the modern day mattresses.
That part blew my mind.
Yeah.
I literally was like, explain to me why I don't need a box spring. And they were like, you just need a frame. And I'm like, but tell me why. Like, I don't even know. I'm confused. Yeah. So for me, I didn't do the research. I was like, I just want a good mattress. I looked up ratings. I saw one called Dream Cloud. You know, my company's called Build Your Own Dreams, and they had a cloud logo. And I looked at the ratings. I said, it's good. And then I ordered it. And then I told my best friend that I had just randomly ordered a mattress. I didn't do any research. I'm hoping that it's good, but they told me I have 360 days to return it if I don't like it. So I'm like, cool. And so I tell her what type of mattress I got. She's like, oh, me and my husband just got that mattress 6 months ago. You're going to love it. So I got lucky, but yeah.
I saw the Dream Cloud.
You
sponsor me.
You can fall down the rabbit hole with any product. Like even if you're like, hey, I think the last thing I did that with was like pans. Like, what kind of pans should I buy?
Yeah.
Right. And then you start looking at reviews and which ones are toxic and like you can literally spend all day on Amazon and like all these other websites. And like, damn, should I get ceramic? Should I get this cast iron shit? Like, I just want to cook my food and not get cancer in a few years. Like that's
because the Teflon is toxic. It's carcinogenic.
Yeah. Yeah, but you could literally do that with any product these days because and then there's like a ton of fake websites and fake reviews. And you're like, oh shit, where can I really go to find the right information? And you can spend your whole weekend just buying pans. Like this shit is ridiculous. So
This is adulthood. And I don't like, I feel like I just started growing up very recently. And I gauge that by what excites me. So the other day, what excited me the other day? It was some dumb shit. I would like shelving or something. I was just like, man, I'm washed.
You're showing your age, talking about stuff that excited you, and you forgot about it a day later. No,
it's just because so much home related. This is what's on my mind all the time. Just it's no longer excitement and going out and meeting new people. It's just like, this is what I want my flooring to look like.
Nice.
So anyway,
let's get to the stuff that people want to hear us talk about. They might want to hear about pans and mattresses. I'm not sure. But Erinn, what you got for us today?
Okay, so you had an interesting topic that I just want to take and own. Don't hit me up if you don't want to talk about anything real. And don't hit me up or stop accepting my meetings also if you don't have like bullshit. That's what I want to talk about, the bullshit in the music industry, especially on the executive side. There's a ton of stuff on the artist side that I think bothers me and annoys me, but the let's get a quick meet in is the most annoying thing. I feel like everybody who has talked to me recently, I just spent all day on the phone. I had gotten away from that for a while, and now I'm back to being on the phone all day. And out of 6 to 10 calls every day, maybe 1 or 2 of them have actual merit or value. So then when I'm like, next week, I started being like, no, let me know. Like I had somebody hit me, hey, I want to connect. So I said, okay, what do you want to connect about? And they were like, well, I want to connect about your artist. I was so annoyed by then. I'm like, come on, bro, like just tell me. Because people feel like because they have my phone number, they can just send me bullshit. Like they don't really know me. I know when people send me shit like that, they don't know. But then I'm like, okay, for reference, so I know if I need to have more team members on the call, what do you want to connect about with my artist? And he said, I want to start working with them on new projects. Like, I'm not kidding you. This is like no shit. Like, and he's taking 30 minutes every time in between every text. And then I said, okay, what type of projects are we talking? So I just start listing. I said, are you talking about business? Are you talking about publishing? Are you talking about writing? Are you talking about getting in it? Because this dude is a songwriter. But I met him through another business acquaintance who was starting a side project. So I'm like, I start asking, he was like, oh yeah, I want to start writing with them. I said, hey, I don't do anything on the musical side. My artists work with all their own people. I can try to make an introduction, but I can't guarantee that they're going to be interested. And he's like, oh, okay, I understand that. Well, I don't want it to be weird. Cool. This whole process took me 3 hours. This man wasted, granted, I'm not focused on him for 3 hours, but for you to waste my time for 3 hours, that's like, and then somebody else will get on the phone. People like to have meetings about meetings. Let's discuss da-da-da-da. Okay, cool. So we talk about it. Hey, we're going to take this back to our team. We'll let y'all know what we're thinking. I'm like, y'all should have been prepared. Like, you just want to hear me talk and get excited, and then you want to have another meeting about it. Bullshit. Y'all got to, like, executives, please stop. I know y'all got stuff to do because I got stuff to do. Please stop wasting my time, my energy. Come with a specific ask, know where your budget is, so that when because some people are like, oh, do y'all want to talk about budget right now? Yes. We're on the phone. Yes. Let's talk about budget right now, or I'll send you a proposal. When you send it back, that's been for my festival. We've been sending out all these proposals. Everybody's like, oh, well, we love what y'all have going on. You guys are incredible. We do want to partner with you, but we don't want to give any money. That's not a partnership then. You just want to be a part of what I've already created. No, a partnership means it's reciprocal. If I created the experience, I'm bringing the people. I don't care about your technology. No disrespect to anybody who has a great tech company trying to partner with us, but your technology is no better than the next person next to me asking for the same thing. Whoever's giving me money is who's getting this. I don't have any loyalty to anybody until they give me money or until they do something incredible like Vidya. Vidya hasn't given me any money, but they're incredible. Their technology makes me money, but I'm just saying, like, the bullshit in this industry on the executive side is driving me crazy.
Well, I think
Erinn, that was an amazing rant. I'm proud of you.
I think you're giving them way too much credit by calling them executives now. Like, I think we got to reserve that title for people that actually have some wins under their belt and that know how to navigate this space, because I'm definitely not calling you an executive if I have to lead you through the conversation. If your win is the conversation with me, you're not an executive. Like, let's just put that as the definition right now. If your win is if your win is the conversation with Erinn, like the conversation itself, you're not an executive, in my opinion. So I think, we need to relax that term a bit. But yeah, there's people in this industry that waste your time all the time. And I'll have the conversation because you never know, like, where the win is going to come sometimes. Like, sometimes the person is of value and has something to bring to the table. But a lot of times it's just, they just want to talk. And that's not a great way to network, right? We always talk about, actually, I have a course coming out with Zoo Labs. I just recorded it, and then I have an ebook. So the ebook's probably going to drop around the same time as the Zoo Labs course. And I think Zoo Labs is just offering this course for free. So that'll be out as well. But it's about obviously having something of value to bring to the table. And a lot of times it's about networking is about timing, right? There's a shitload of numbers I have in my phone, but I don't hit them up just to hit them up. Right. I hit them up when I have something I think can be of value to them so we can have a conversation. Like, people that have been in the industry for some time, hopefully, and this is not always the case because there's some people that have been in the industry for a long time and still love wasting your time. Hopefully people are hitting you up when they have something, like have an actual plan. I mean, there are some people that are just friends that I don't mind, talking to or catching up with. Like, that's totally different. But people got to stop wasting people's time because that's not, and they're not going to tell you that you're fucking up too. Like, that's not something that's that's not something that most people will be like, hey, you're fucking up by having this conversation too early. That's just going to leave a bad taste in their mouth. And then going forward, they're either not going to return your calls or texts or emails. Yeah. So you're not going to get that an immediate feedback for something like that. They're just going to talk about you behind your back, most likely.
Or a podcast.
Yeah. Or a podcast. But also, so what you mentioned about texting and like 30 minutes later, I think I tweeted about that not too long, just texting etiquette. Like, some people have just poor texting etiquette. Like, you'll be going back and forth. And then there's no closure, but then there'll just be a stop. And I'll be like, yo, like, what are we doing? Like, if we're going back and forth, we got to close it out. Like, don't have me sitting there like expecting like an immediate text response. And then it just never comes. It might come like a day later or 2 days later. I know that was random, but you mentioned text, and I just, that pisses me off sometimes. Like, we were about to get to the end of this conversation and now there's no text coming through. Now I got to call you and figure out what's going on.
So Erinn, you're talking more about people on, I know you threw the word executive out there, but people at least who are working for legitimate established companies for the most part. Or is it just, because I always think in terms of this conversation,
it's mostly entrepreneurs.
Okay.
I think she was given executive. It sounded like you were giving executive title to like the people that are just on the non-artist side, like managers.
Yes, I'm saying executive because typically people say artist versus exec, like, are you on the business side? So I'm just specifically talking to people who are on the business side of art. Because when artists hit me up with bullshit, I'm just like, they're an artist. Most artists bullshit. If you're a professional artist, I'm impressed. But on the business side, I'm just like, your job is to be efficient so you can make more money. So why are you wasting time? I want to know what these people do for a living. Because I'm like, if y'all got time like this to waste with me, what are you must be making money. Because you just wasted so much time.
But I think this is important for the artist to hear too, because the artist, you just said you're impressed when an artist is professional. Like that, we need to get that to be the norm. Not that I'm going to lead the charge and have this be the fight that I, put my life on, but artists need to be professional, because the ones that are get more opportunities than the ones that aren't. Yeah,
well, and you both of you said two really powerful things. Dame, you said, Dame, what did you say? Well, I'll go to what Erinn said. She was emphasizing time, and time really is the only valuable thing we as humans possess. I mean, it really is. So when you're wasting somebody's time, to me, that's the greatest offense you can perpetrate against a person. It's just that is so awful. And, it's the norm. It is, unfortunately. And what Dame said was that even if he has a feeling that an inquiry isn't leading anywhere, you just never know, because we work in this space where we have to seek out opportunities. We just do. That's how we make a living. Other people don't appreciate that. And so, again, I can't relate to wanting to waste time. I can't, because I'm acutely aware, and we should all be acutely aware, especially after all the things that the average human has been through. We should be acutely aware that time is not this endless resource. It's not. And every other resource that we could possibly want in life, we can get more of, except time. So why are we wasting each other's time? That's so disrespectful. And I don't know if you saw Mike Trampy's post. This is what inboxes look like. Someone sends him a message, let's work. Mike asks, what are we working on? The guy says, are you a manager? Mike says, no. The guy says, what do you do? He says, you hit me up and said, let's work. I figured you knew. And the final text from the person reaching out says, I don't, bro. All the time I get this. I don't like the mysterious thing that people try to play, where they'll contact me out of nowhere and be like, hey, call me right now. I need to talk to you. No, you don't. If you're my mother, you can get away with that. If you're my sibling, you can get away with that. If you're my close friend, you can get away with that. Because, yeah, you probably do need to talk to me, and I will call you. If you're a total stranger, we've never interacted before, no, you absolutely, that's not how you speak to other professionals. That's not how you network. It's not. And again, unfortunately, we waste a lot of our time doing that, and I wish that weren't the reality. But yeah, as long as I'm working in this space, sometimes these kind of strange, vague inquiries do turn into something. But it's a lot of work for me to say, to ask all the right prompts. Like, you're contacting me. Let's just make it easy. If I contact you, I'm going to make it easy. I'm not going to be like, hey, let's figure something out. About what? Oh, about. I've seen people write music or like spoken word pieces. My friend came. I love that my best friend is finally like in the industry to the point where he's getting these weird ass messages. He showed it to me. It was some guy that was like, oh, I just want to build with you. And he's like, well, what do you, he's being tolerant. He's like, yeah, well, I would have ignored it. He's like, what are you talking about? And the guy's like, oh, I just want to focus on the manifestation of creation in this great nation so we can, and I'm just like, yo, you got to block this guy. This isn't going anywhere.
Yeah, I'm not talking about, like, I definitely don't respond to those, but there are, I'm definitely not responding to the let's work, let's build and stuff like that. But there are people that have more experience in this industry that still waste your time. The little bit of research I do when people reach out to me in an email, I might look at their Instagram, see what they have going on. I might even check LinkedIn to see if we had shared connections. If the email has an actual website, I might go to the website just to check the credibility. But the let's work, that's not, I don't even think we should talk about that. that for sure is not getting a response. And I'm not leading anybody down the path of trying to figure. Erinn has way more patience than I do. Like, I'm not leading the person down do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Nah, but there are people that have some experience that still do this, and I think I might have said it best a few minutes ago. Like, if your win is just to have the meeting, then, that's not the meeting that I want to be a part of. The win should be what we are creating from what we are building from the meeting. Like, I don't need you going to Twitter afterwards and be like, yeah, I just met up with so-and-so.
Yes.
Like,
okay. That one too. There's literally people who will tweet like, yeah, I was just talking to Erinn and she said, da, da, da. I'm like, you first and foremost, and people, this is something that's really getting weird. People are now tweeting that they talked to me and referencing things that we talked about on the podcast or in the live. Like, man, I'm so grateful for Erinn's knowledge. She just told me X, Y, and Z. Granted, if I'm on the podcast, yes, I'm telling you, but they're trying to present it as, I've had people send me screenshots that said, oh, bro, he said he was talking to you last week or he just met with you. And I'm like, I have no idea who that person is. Like, people are literally using meetings for clout now. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit is so weird to me. And it makes me, this is like, if there's any redeeming qualities of this, I want to give y'all like some pointers. But for me, especially the state that I'm in, even when my friends hit me, I had my friend hit me yesterday. He's like, yo, I'm going to start throwing shows in Northwest Arkansas. You want to do that? And I'm like, no, like, they can pay me to come out there, but I'm not trying to build a market. The place that I'm at in my career right now, if you are not calling with money, there's maybe 2 or 3 other things that I'm interested in life right now. But like, don't hit my line. I don't want to hear about your idea or your concept, because all people do is they want me to come give them energy. They want me to encourage them. They want me to give them ideas. And then they want me to front load them with resources, because people know I'm a walking book. If you ask me a question or anything, I'm at least going to have something to contribute. And I don't care. I don't want to hear about the NFT company that you're about to start working with. I don't want to hear about this idea that you have for my artist. Like, you're not on my team. You don't know what we got going on. We have the next 6 months planned. Like, if you are hitting my line, you better be talking about money right now. And I really mean that. Some people are like, that's shallow. No, the point that I am in my career, I have enough passion projects going on. Everything has got to be a money conversation, or you can hit somebody else who has more time than I do. Like, this is acceleration year and y'all are wasting time talking about, well, have you considered, I don't need more ideas. I don't need another idea from a person who has yet to, what kills me is I could teach you a lot about da, 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 da. This is what people email me. Oh, we should talk about this. I could teach you a lot of, have you done it yet? Have you done it? Because if you've done it, then you would have made money and you're coming to me with money. Like, that's what I'm looking for. I want proof of concept. I want you to talk about something real, something serious. If you don't have that, just catch me on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Comment something nice and we can just keep it at that. Go create your proof of concept before you hit me up. I'm not the one. I don't care how nice y'all think I am. Like, I may spend a little time being kind to you, but you're going to feel real stupid after that email and that text gets left on red when I realize you're not talking about nothing. Like, we're not doing this.
I mean, at the end of the day, what people are really just exposing is their immaturity and their lack of experience in this industry. And that's not what you want people to know about you. You know, that's not the impression that, hopefully you want to leave with people. So definitely get my ebook when it drops. It'll be free. I think the Zoo Labs, I'm pretty sure the Zoo Labs course will be free. There's a lot of things that I've learned over the years that'll be in there. And hopefully there's some stuff that maybe you didn't think about. Obviously there's, stuff that's been repeated that I've seen, time and time again on the internet. But hopefully it adds value to some folks and keeps people out of my email and text. I don't know how so many people I've never changed my number, but
that's my problem too. I never changed my number and I'm like, yo.
And they'll be passing around people's contact information without asking them first. Please. Like,
people are selling it.
Don't be passing around, because that also is going to give you a negative mark on your reputation card. Like, don't be passing around my email or phone number without asking me. I would never do that to one of my contacts. Like, you always have to give them a heads up. Say, hey, is it okay if so-and-so wants your number? They want to talk to you about X, Y, Z. And then then you send it if they say okay. But please don't pass around. If you got my number and it didn't come from me, please delete it. Because that's out of pocket for sure. All right, I think we can move on. I'm trying to avoid the long pauses again. But Payne, did you wanna launch into your topic?
Yeah, and it's quick. It's a success story. It should be motivational. But we talked about opinions on the internet and the internet amplifying opinions last episode, and so I think I spoke on the whole situation I had with a particular placement and it being really difficult. So I'll just jump right in. I have a hit single now. I produced along with two others a hit single. This is my first hit single.
Congrats.
Thank you. And it feels amazing, especially since all the stuff I went through, all the stuff we went through to get this, it started off like a disaster. It was a disaster. And if we had given up, we wouldn't have a hit record right now. It went from bad negotiations to them trying to trick us. I alluded to that in another episode. To then there was this whole controversy. So the original version had a sample. My portion was the melody, but it happened to be a sample. I wasn't organized. I couldn't identify the sample because it was from 6 years ago. Which isn't an excuse. I offered to replay it, and not only would that make the song a reality, but it would also create way less confusion, way fewer problems for the label. And plus the bonus was then we would have ownership in the record, because if you sample, you don't know what the hell's going to happen. So we did that, and we made like 16 versions of it, and finally they approved of one, and it drops. Of course, the melody's different. I didn't think it was that different, but then again, what do I know? So when it went out to the public, there was a backlash because people loved the original. People freaked out about, not everybody, probably the majority of the people were just fine with it and they liked it. Definitely the majority were fine with it, but there were, I saw a few, maybe a couple hundred comments. And when people are online, they'll say anything. And if they were really, it's the Pooh Shiesty and G Herbo record, Switch It Up. So-called fans were going on there saying wild, insulting, offensive stuff like, this is trash, we hate this, we're not supporting you anymore, we don't support that. Just like stuff where like, I would never say this to someone I was a fan of, to the point where
they said this because a sound changed in the song. Yeah,
and which I think is really terrible fan behavior. We don't ever talk about fan conduct. It's always like, what is the artist doing? What is the label doing? Fan conduct can really be trash out here. So anyway, to wrap this up, I saw hundreds of comments from people saying no one likes this version. People were coming at me because I'm there celebrating, like, this record's out, this is amazing. People are like, oh, you ruined the song, this is trash, blah, blah, blah. Now the single is gold. The album's platinum. The single is gold. It's a hit based on raw numbers from a third-party organization that verified it, the RIAA. You have to get the RIAA to audit your sales and sales equivalent numbers to come up with the gold, platinum, and diamond certifications. There's no debate as to whether or not people like this song. They like the song. It's a hit. So it's so easy to look at the comments from the loud minority on the internet. And some of those people that are saying, oh, this song is trash, are listening to it 10 times a day. Being on the internet is a mind fuck. It's a very confusing space because very few people are broadcasting in an honest and authentic way. For artists, that can be additionally confusing because we're sensitive, we're creatives, we're putting our music out there and we're identifying with that final product. So when people respond negatively, it affects us in a deeper way. I don't know what the solution is, but I'm living proof that these opinions do not matter. If these opinions mattered, if they were valid, if they were true, this single would not have been a hit. And it is. So at this point, I don't care what people say. I don't want to hear shit. At the time when it was happening and I'm like, the song's not coming out, you know, the artist is responding. He's frustrated. He's hurt by his fans. Like, where does that leave me and Gold Hayes and JD Fang? Like, we're just there trying to defend ourselves. All we're trying to do is make music. And we got, 20 comments a day on Twitter talking about we're trash for ruining a song, even though we made both versions and no one knows the backstory. So yeah, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. We talk about this all the time. I think just focus on your fans, not the detractors, not the critics, not the assholes. But this makes it very literal and concrete. You know, I witnessed this happen. You can go on and see these comments from people. They're still there. That's the internet. And then fast forward just a couple months, single goes gold.
Yeah, I mean,
it's gotta feel amazing.
Especially with the adversity. Absolutely. Yeah. It's vindicating. It's just, I feel like that's what happens every time in the music business. Like, no matter what accomplishment you make, 90% of the time, it's born out of some kind of struggle and adversity. So it's really fulfilling. But also, at any given point, we could have dropped out and just been like, fuck this record. People hate it. I'm out. I mean, every artist I know that's successful, now that I know personally, had those moments where they're just like, no one likes me. People are telling me I'm trash. People are telling me my music's terrible. People are telling me I'll never go anywhere. People told me that. People are still crying about whatever they heard about Damon Hobson's song, 10 years ago. People don't let stuff go. And because of the internet, they can freely express stupid opinions. And it feels like sometimes, because those voices are amplified, because it becomes like a mob sort of scenario, it seems like that's an actual real concern for an artist or for an individual. And it's not. The vast majority of the time, it's not. Someone says a song is trash. It's not. Someone says you're not going to go anywhere. You are. Don't worry.
Well, it could be trash to them. I mean, the fact of the matter is, like, you can pretty much find any opinion you want on the internet. It's really just what you decide to lean into, right? Like, you easily could have leaned into the positive and, but I guess naturally, sometimes we see the negative and it stands out more, but, there's both sides of every equation most times, even in the slap heard around the world. There's some people that supported Will, some people that trashed Will. Some people said Christian did something different. Some people said they should have hit him back. Like, you're going to find every opinion on the internet, and it's really just up to you kind of what you decide to lean into. I know I probably made that sound easier than it actually is, because some of those negative comments do jab you sometimes, but it's like, you just have to be steadfast and focused and have a vision, have a plan, and stick to it. So shout out to you for getting another gold plaque. How many is that, Payne?
If once the label approves the album and the single, that'll be number 4 and 5.
Nice.
That's so fire. Congrats, Payne.
It feels good. I'm trying to get to like the TNT and Cardiac level, but where they got to like buy a separate house just to accommodate all the plaques. So we'll see. I'm a little behind, but I feel good.
We should find out, like, is streaming making more gold records than normal?
I think so. I'm of the opinion
it seems like, and definitely, I'm not diminishing a gold record or a platinum record by any means, but it seems like I've seen a lot of, and maybe people are lying, but it seems like a lot of producers are celebrating, gold records, platinum records. I know that we only had Hobson has 2 gold records. You might have more now. I have no idea, but yeah, it seems like streaming has led to more gold and platinum.
Well, when Hobson got the gold records, was this during the time when the RIAA was accepting, YouTube views and streams as sales equivalents?
I'm not sure. This was before heavy streaming too. I don't know if YouTube. I don't remember.
I don't think it was, and I think had the Funk Volume story played out, 5 years later, Hobson and everyone else in the label would have gotten a lot more plaques, honestly.
I think so. I think we really would have strived in this environment, because when you have a group or a label, if you can and I've talked about this a lot, but if you can consistently stay present, that is the challenge for artists today. And I guess that kind of goes into my topic, just about what is all of the energy that's really required for your momentum to stick, right? Because when we started, if we put out a video that went viral, that could live for maybe a week, right? People would talk about it for a week and blogs would cover it and things like that. Now, if you have something that goes viral, it might stick for 30 minutes, an hour. You have to constantly build on that momentum. And why I think Funk Volume or any label could really do well is because not any one person is required to shoulder that burden of constantly staying present, right? When we had the label, somebody would be putting out a song and then somebody would be going on tour, and then somebody would do an interview, and then we drop the documentary, and then we'd have the contest, and then we do some community service. We always have so much stuff that we're doing as a collective, but we all could share it. So the story is continuously being told. If you're just an individual artist and you're required to constantly be present, that's a lot of pressure to make so much content to keep in everybody's face until you have the community or the momentum that really sticks for real, right? Once you have a community that's there for you, that has shared value, that's really tapped into what you're doing, then you can kind of dial back and go as you please, like we talked about, I think last week. But it takes a while to get to that point. That's why I'm always encouraging people to, not necessarily start labels, although I think there's some opportunities to do that, and it'd be easier to have that flow of content, but just collaborate with other artists. I think collaboration is key, and, make content together so that it can be shared amongst, several pages and takes the burden a little bit off of what you need to do these days.
I think that's why people see things like Odd Future or TDE or Quality Control, and they're like, I just got to get signed to them or work with them. The truth of the matter is it's you're creating your own movement. Right? When you can create a movement, then you don't have to sustain, like you said, the momentum. And I think that so many people miss that. That's why an artist community is so necessary. That's why making sure that what you have, I think a lot of bigger artists understand this and most smaller artists don't get it, but most bigger artists are surrounded by people, and they have their own labels. I think about, Currency has been relevant for 25 years because he had people behind him, in front of him, around him. He created Jet Life. They got their own shoes. They have their own liquor. It's just it's a system that he created, And I think that I'm trying to do that with the Excellence Academy, because I look at Build Your Own Dreams. We have multiple artists. We have multiple categories our artists fit into. So it's not just, we're a label. It's we do label services for these artists. Then I have a booking agency. I have a management firm. So it's to the point now, I'll look at our Instagram sometimes and be like, oh, damn, we did that. That's tight. Or people be like, oh, I need you to post about this. And I'm like, I didn't even realize we were doing X, Y, and Z. Or we got selected to do this. It's there's so much. I can't even keep up with even my team with Build Your Own Dreams, much less what my artists are doing. not that I'm not aware, but a lot of the wins, like we just got nominated for a Stellar Award with one artist. We got, I got another artist on the road, and it's just consistently, I'm blown away. But it's because I started with myself, and then I built a nucleus to the point now that I'm not going a week or two. I'm not going a day or two without posting a win, to be honest. I don't even post about half the shit we're winning with because I don't want it to just look like, oh, look at what we're doing. But I post to encourage people like, yo, we got this and this and this. Like, to me, the most exciting things for me are being a part of this, the MEC, and doing the BeatStars stuff. But I still have a ton of things going on. And I think if artists understand, hey, the collective, it may take away from you for a moment. You may not make as much money for a moment, but really that's like when you bring people together, that's multiplication. It's not addition. Two great people together doesn't add. It's multiplication. And if once you guys start getting chemistry, it's exponential growth. And I think a lot of artists, producers, whoever got to get out of their own. I think about Nova Wave. Nova Wave, those two women are so phenomenally gifted individually, right? Individual, but together, insane. And there's so many case studies for this, that when you come together as a group. So the value of community is something that people can't forsake when they're looking at momentum and really creating, especially as independent artists. The reason that you want to sign to a label is because they have momentum and they have the conglomerate of success. You want to essentially siphon off of some of their wins and say like, hey, I'm affiliated with Def Jam or Universal, therefore I have credibility. If you cannot jump straight to that, build your own credibility by building a community around you so that now everybody in the community is eating and winning. It's simple math to me, but I feel like people don't understand it.
Well, I don't think you don't even really get that from signing with a Def Jam or signing with Universal, right? Like you'll get that. And that I've talked about this before. This is where smaller labels really win, whether it's an independent label or a label that has an imprint under Interscope or whoever. Like they're the ones that have the direct connection with the fans. They have the community that's built. Def Jam used to have a community, but it doesn't really exist like that anymore. But you touched on a couple of things, Erinn. I think that what you just talked about, all your wins, is why I think people should tap into this podcast and our live sessions, because Payne just talked about his gold plaque. You just talk about having a win every other second. Like you guys are doing things outside of we're not just on this platform, just yapping at artists, telling them what they should do. There was somebody that reached out to me recently. They were like, Dame, why are you always why are you always talking to artist managers, but you don't want to manage artists? And I was like, one, I do. I just don't want to manage anymore. Like I'm still active. I still work with creative people. And there was another comment that I said I'm not going to bring up on here, so I'm not going to do it because it would just be for entertainment value. There's nothing to be learned from it. But what was the other thing that I wanted to mention? The other thing that I wanted to mention was because I see some artists these days, because some of our wins don't stick for as long as they used to. Like some videos go viral, there'll be another story. Will Smith will slap somebody, whatever happens later in the day. I see some people puffing their chest out too much after a win and start not replying to certain people, not building because they think they're on now. Right. They'll get a win and they think that that's going to put them in a whole nother place when in reality, that was it was a small win. It was cool, but it shouldn't have changed your attitude. It shouldn't have changed how you move. And I see that happen now where people will have a little shining moment. They'll start getting ahead of themselves. 6 months later, they're back doing the same thing, probably calling the people that they stopped picking up the phone for. Right. I see that happen way too much. So don't get ahead.
First people to be like, yeah, the industry's not fucking with me. Nobody really cares about what I'm doing because I'm so different. It's like, no, you're an asshole.
I have to tell artists all the time, so there's artists that will literally tell me hey, Dame, I'm doing this many streams a month, doing this, doing that. Nobody's doing it like me. I'm like, well, in reality, there are just a shitload of other artists that are doing better than you. Same thing. And I'm not trying to downplay what you're doing. What you're doing is great. but you are only looking at one small piece. I think we have you're being hit up by artists all the time. Payne's working with artists all the time. Like, we know how people are really moving in this industry. So don't let your head get all big thinking that you're the only one doing something. Shit, go on Spotify and click on the little button that says other artists in your lane. And you'll probably find 10 other artists in a matter of 10 seconds that have way more monthly listeners than you, way more streams than you, and are just as independent as you. So, people just need to chill out. Like I said, have vision, stay the course, don't get ahead of yourself, and stack your wins, because it's going to take a lot of them to really get on for real, for real.
Yeah, that personality type, man, is like the people that you work with at a traditional job and they got their feet kicked up the whole shift. And then when it comes time to discuss tasks, they're the ones that say, well, I'm doing the most work in here. I pick up everybody's slack. And they're like, I can't wait till you get fired. But they don't get fired from the music business. So they'll be in your DMs. I get collared by people. Back when I used to be doing more shows, I just remember this one experience where this guy like walked right up to me and was like, yo, I'm signed to MMG. I'm doing this and that. I got I'm just like, damn, bro, like, you're actually in my face saying what most people say in my DMs, and I can't believe it. And automatically I don't respect you because I know you're lying, because I'm actually in this business. Why would you lie to someone? Tell that to a drunk girl at the bar. Don't tell it to me. Tell it to your cousins. Tell it to your aunt. Like, don't tell it to me. I'm actually in this business. But as Dame said, it's not even something that I take offense to or anything. Because at first I was like, wow, a lot of these people think I'm an idiot, or they don't think I'm actually in the business. They would say the same thing to Jay-Z. It's them. There's something going on in their brain that I don't understand, and it has nothing to do with me. However, I would love some kind of magic bullshit repellent to just, I would shower in it just so those people just stay away from me. But I don't know a good way to repel them other than to just listen to what they have to say, instantly identify it as a lie, and then just say, no, I'm not taking on new projects, or this doesn't sound like something I want to work with, or whatever the case is. But yeah, I feel like the theme today is people are full of shit.
Too many.
I think this is like kind of what Dame was saying. It's like, if you're leading with the win, you don't really have them, right? Like, I met a guy 2 days ago on 404 Day, and he was just cool. We were both at the bar waiting. We could not get drinks. It was taking forever. So I just start talking to the dude because he seems so cool, really laid back. I get my first drink, I leave. And when I come back, he's still sitting there. He had just posted up. So I'm like, yo, what do you do? He's like, yeah, I own a cleaning company, whatever, just super low key, really nice. So then I bring one of my friends over to meet him because I just like the guy. I'm like, hey, this is my friend, Troop, whatever, introduce him to the guy. After we start talking, come to find out, this man actually works with Jay-Z, like verifiably, right? But he literally tells me about his cleaning service because that's his new passion project with his brother, and it's like, we start talking about stuff. We have so many mutual connections. This is another reason that I know he's legit. But he didn't even know I worked in the music industry. I'm like, yo, I'm Erinn. I'm from Atlanta. I'm stoked to be at 404 Day. He's like, yo, I'm Oliver. I got a cleaning business. Like regular ass people. Typically, when people are like, I know this person, I like this. When people lead with name dropping or their affiliations, it's proof positive that they don't actually have much going on with themselves. And I think that people don't get that. They think that they're going to impress somebody because of who they can name drop. And it's like, most of the time when you name drop people, I know them by name. I've literally texted people when folks say, hey, do you know da-da-da-da? Like in that moment. And they'll be like, I don't know who that is. Or, I think I met bro one time. Then I'm like, cool. And I'm out. So it's like, why not just be honest and say, hey, I'm trying to get into the industry. I'm a fan of what you do. I'm down to, I watch your To me, if you want to get far with me, tell me you watch the podcast. Tell me you've been researching, you're planning on joining the Excellence Academy. Tell me some shit that I'm passionate about education. Tell me something like that. Don't tell me that you've worked with whoever, Mike Dean, and that you're having a session with him tomorrow. Like, I don't care. I don't work with producers. Like, I don't care. Be a regular human. Show me that you have some sort of humanity. That's what's going to move me. Talking about DMA, ma, like, let's work. I'm the next big beloved. Move away. Like, I just don't even want to talk to you.
Yeah. But don't tell her that you listen to the MEC podcast and you don't. Like, the last thing you want to do is lie, because you continue down that path and you reveal you over here thinking that the MEC podcast is about something totally different. Yeah, I don't know, man. There's just a lot of people that just don't know how to not be a clown. And it's unfortunate. But anyway, check out the ebook when it drops. I'm not even sure what I'm calling it, but I think the Zoo Labs course is just networking in the music industry. So it'll be helpful to a lot of young people for sure. So anyway, we could wrap it up. We're about an hour in.
Yeah. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Our live sessions are still going down on beatstars.live Mondays and Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to stay in touch with us, the best way to do that is through text. And that's Dame's job.
All you need to do is text MEC to 844-206-7800. You'll get a text alert right before we go live. Tap into the next session. I'm trying to think who. I know I got Z coming on from DJ Booth, Audio Mac, in a couple of weeks. But yeah, still got some dope sessions. So tap in.
All right. Till next time. Peace.
Peace.